So we're a little over halfway through the year 2020, the sequel, and we've had some camera highlights. We had the Fujifilm X-H2, which personally, even though it didn't quite get the autofocusing that I would like, I thought the spec sheet looked pretty great and the images that I saw come out of it pretty great. We had the Canon R7 and the Canon R10, which was good to see Canon give some RF APS-C love, but other than that, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that was super groundbreaking when it comes to cameras in the first half of this year, but maybe the second half of the year can do some heavy lifting. And here are my top 5 most anticipated cameras that still maybe,
just maybe,
probably are coming out in 2022. So coming in at number 5, I have the new Sony ZV camera. And the reason I have the new Sony ZV camera, even though I wasn't impressed with the ZV-E10, is because I think that the new ZV camera is going to replace whatever the 6000 series cameras is. I think that is going to be basically the new brand of their higher end APS-C line as well. And I have a few different reasons why I believe that. The main one being just how popular the ZV camera actually was. And I think from a marketing perspective, it makes sense. So I'm excited to see whatever this new ZV camera is coming out. Sony Alpha Rumors have been talking about it. I've been talking about it.
That's hearsay, I guess.
I think it's coming out next month in September, but we will have to wait and see. Coming in at number 4 for me is the Fujifilm X-H2, not the X-H2S. So the original X-H2, it doesn't exactly make sense because the S came out before. Anyway, whatever you want to call it, the Fujifilm X-H2 is supposed to be coming out in September, or at least being announced in September on September 8th. And this camera is pretty exciting to me because I will be interested to see what a 40 megapixel sensor will do on an APS-C camera. What will their 8K look like? I hear it's going to be 8K 30, which is very impressive, especially if the body doesn't overheat, which I'm gonna be kind of skeptical about. And I wonder if that fan that came out for the X-H2S was actually for this camera coming up in September. Let's hope not. I will be interested to see what will the 40 megapixel sensor look like on their kind of dated glass, or at least some of the glass is dated. So what will that 40 megapixel sensor look like on that older glass? We will have to wait and see. Coming in at number 3 for me is not gonna get me any love, and that is the iPhone 14 Pro.
what is this?
And I know what a lot of you are thinking, and you're saying that the iPhone isn't a real camera, and I kind of agree, I kind of don't.
We will not have it.
But the reason why I'm excited about it, and the reason why most people get excited for the new iPhone in general, is because of a new camera system. And this particular year is going to be the first year that they come off the 12 megapixels and actually bump it up to a 48 megapixel camera, which is supposed to do 8K 60. I know it's on like a, pinky nail sensor size. I get all that, but it'll be interesting to see what Apple does with 8K. For a long time, the iPhone has had the best video, but it's really stuck to that 4K 12 megapixel sensor for a long time now, where Samsung and other companies have went way up there in the spec sheet, but they haven't done a very good job, at least on the video front. And I will be excited to see what this new phone camera has to offer. So that's why it's coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 for me, and what would probably be my number 1 on the list if we were sure it was actually gonna come out, and that is the Nikon Z8. So we've heard some conflicting reports on if the Z8 is actually even a thing, but there has been a lot of rumors coming out saying that it was going to come out in August, which is quickly passing us by. And then the leakers said that it was going to come out or September or October at the latest. And then there was a weird image that leaked. It was a lot of weird stuff. But even though there's been some conflicting reports from this leaker, even Nikon Rumors agrees that a Z8 is actually gonna come. The question is,
who is your daddy and what does he do?
when will it come and what will it have in it? If the leaker is to be believed, it will have the same stack sensor as the Nikon Z9 and basically be very similar to it without a battery grip. it's hard to believe, but if that camera is coming out, then I'm excited for it. Now, coming in at number 1 for me is a camera that we still kind of don't know for sure if it's gonna come, but it seems like it's time for it to come, and it's been rumored for a long time, and that is the Sony A7R V. Most people, or at least Sony Alpha Rumors, has been talking about it coming out in October. There's been very conflicting reports on what the spec sheet will be, and the mystery of the specs of this camera is really why it's making my most anticipated list. There's been a lot of wild speculation about the sensor. A lot of people are saying that it's gonna be a 90 plus megapixel sensor, and if that's the case, it's gonna be absolutely insane. I do think it kind of makes sense for them to go up to a higher megapixel range, just because you have their, fast sports action photography camera now having a 50 megapixel sensor. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep the same sensor as the A7R IV, just update the ergonomics, maybe update to the better EVF, and also maybe a better flip screen or maybe a tilt screen. I don't know what it's gonna have in it, but I could see them doing that for sure, and maybe put in a newer processor and get us a little bit more speed out of it. So that will also be a really enticing camera if that is the case for a lot of different people. But if they really do go mad and go with like a 90 to 100 megapixel sensor camera, I'm really interested to see how that would actually work. The biggest hurdle that I see is just the storage capacity. The way that Sony has been going is with the Type A CF Express cards, and if I'm not mistaken, the highest storage that you can get right now is only like 160 gigs, and I really don't think that is conducive for a 100 megapixel sensor, but I mean, what do I know? Maybe Sony knows a lot more than me, I'm sure. But those are my 5 top most anticipated cameras that still maybe possibly are coming out in 2022. Drop in the comment section below and let me know. Do you agree with my list? Am I way off? Do you have a completely different list? Let me know all that in the comment section below. If you've liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And until next time, peace.